Hey, it's Jeremy. In today's video, I'm going to do something a little different. I'm going to change out the engine on my 2018 Subaru WRX. These are the tools it recommends you use to do the change. Let's get started. Hopefully it's quick and easy. First thing you're going to want to do is grab your flathead screwdriver and pop these tabs. In the middle, pop out. Be careful not to lose the tabs. And you got two down here to pop out. You want to set that aside carefully. Make sure you don't lose the tabs. Next thing, you can either use a flathead screwdriver, or you can use, in this case I'm using a 5/16. You're going to want to loosen up the two hoses running to the intercooler. Just loosen them up enough so that they start to turn. Then next you want to grab your 12mm socket. Go ahead and pop the two bolts, the one on the left side. You may have to hold the bottom if it starts to spin. And then the next one over here. Next, you want to gently wiggle the intercooler upward. And out at the same time. Might be stuck if you haven't done it for a while. Got one side out. The other side should just come out now. Now you gotta be careful you don't pop it out and damage it. Set that somewhere safe on the ground. Now what we are looking at here that we are changing is this. There's a bolt here and a bolt back in here. Next thing you want to do is hit it with some PB Blaster. You're going to want to shoot both sides, a little bit in the middle. Same thing with the back one. Then you're going to let that sit for a few minutes before you try to remove them to let that PB Blaster do its job. Alright, I just want to apologize about the wind noise. I am working on the car outside. And I also forgot to mention, as always, you should wait till your car is properly cooled before you attempt to ever work on it. Next, you want to grab your 14mm socket and ratchet and remove the back bolt, which has a built-in nut. Sorry, I grabbed the wrong socket. You can always cheat and use a breaker bar if needed. And then remove that completely once you get it broken free. You're going to want to retain all original hardware. You're going to reuse it. When you go to remove the next one, you're going to need to use a 14mm wrench as well as the socket. Nice. Once you get that broken free, remove it. Just make sure not to lose the nut or any spacers and washers. And just like that, it's out. Remember, don't lose anything. You're going to reuse it. Now carefully pull that out. Let's do a quick comparison. Here's the old one. Here's the new one. Quite a sizable difference. Next, what you're going to want to do is take the super lube that is provided and spread it all around on both sides before you put it back into place. As you can see, a little bit goes a long way. Next, you want to put that back into place just the same as you took it out. This one's a little bit of a tighter squeeze. Make sure you get it lined up. Remember, the longer bolt's the one that's going to go back through, and it only goes back on one side because the other side's got the nut attached. Make sure it goes in easily before you do it by hand, before you attempt to ratchet it back into place. And then you can go ahead and use your ratchet once you know you got it back. Now if you have the torque wrench, you're going to want to torque it back to spec. Or if you don't, you just want to get it good and tight. But be careful not to break it. And then next you want to go ahead and reinstall the front. So you get that down into place. Like I said, it's a snug fit. Then when you put it back, the bolt and nut go opposite the top one. At least that's how they were when I removed it, and that's how I'm going to put it back. Same thing, hand tighten it before you put a socket on it always. Make sure you can't cross thread. Same thing, you're going to want to, if you got a torque wrench, you're going to torque it down to the specified foot-pounds. If not, just good and tight, but make sure you got to have a wrench on the other side. It's always good to go back and check after you tighten them up, make sure they're both tight. Yep, that's good. Once you know you got it all tight, next thing is reinstall the intercooler. You want to make sure as you're putting it back in that none of the hoses are crumpled in any way and that they slide on easily. Of course, it only goes on one way. Put it back carefully so you don't damage any of the fins. It's easiest to slide the right side in first. Like I said, make sure it's not caught in any way. Should slide smoothly in. Just reaching around to make sure that it's not caught. And like I said, you just gotta work it back in a little bit. Just do it gently. Make sure that lines up. Get that in place. And you come over here. This one takes a little more flexing. You just pick up on the pipe, tuck the bottom in. I'm going to loosen my clamp up a little bit here just to be on the safe side. Seems a little snug. Yep, that's better. Apologize for the struggle. It's really fighting me. I can't get the top to tuck in. Oh, and I popped the whole gasket out. we go. Make sure all your hoses are out of the way. Oh, pop it back out. There we go, finally got it. Next you want to reinstall the two bolts on the intercooler. Once again, as usual, make sure everything's lined up and that you can hand tighten it before you put a socket on it. You want to do the intercooler, tighten it first, down back to the car, and then do the hoses last. Once again, using your 12mm, go ahead and crank them down, torque them to spec, or just tighten them. Once again, tighten it down. But then after you've done that, you're going to want to tighten the hoses back up. Make sure they're facing upward. Make it easier for you if you have to remove them again. Just get them snug, don't over tighten them. You don't want to strip it out. Make sure it's good and snug. Then you want to grab your cover. Make sure your tabs are popped up. Get everything you want to get everything lined up. And then just pop it back into place once you get it lined up. Make sure you got your screwdriver. In case your tabs fight you. And that's how you do the install. Hope this helps somebody. Have a great day.